The people that know that it's wrong to support genocide, but are still going to support those that are supporting the genocide because they just can't get off the plantation, as you have said. Could you please talk about the Democrats constantly? It's almost like a rite of passage if you're in the establishment and are going to be paid money to say these talking points like Angela Rye does.
They actually do get paid for that.
Democracy's on the line. We must vote against Trump.
It's an existential threat. This is the most important election of our lifetime.
And yet, I don't think people truly understand I mean, I could talk about Mark Elias, but you already know him very well. The things that the Democratic Party establishment in particular do to subvert the democratic process, the things that they do, particularly to the Green Party, to make it 10 times more difficult to be involved in the electoral process, raise money, build coalitions. Can you talk about what they have been doing? And now that they really see you as a threat, the things that they are continuing to do on an even grander scale to ensure that there is no breakthrough in the status
those Democratic quo. Democrats.
They've made, I mean, they're always prattling on and on about how the Republicans are doing voter suppression. What the Democrats do instead is competition suppression, okay? They do a fair amount of voter suppression, too, separate conversation. But what they've done consistently is sue over and over and over again to try to keep us off the ballot. Now, what kind of party that is interested in expanding electoral access does that? They are the most corrupt, disingenuous band of crooks and thieves. That at least the Republicans are honest in their brutality. The duplicitousness of the Democrats, I mean, there almost aren't any words to describe it. All they do is gaslight. They have one discourse that is for public consumption, and they have an absolutely Machiavellian and cruel calculus that they deploy. Remember that they are the reason why we have Trump in the first place.
Absolutely.
They're the reason why we have the extremist politics on the Republican side that we now have, because they have been systematically pouring money into the most extreme candidates on the Republican side, thinking that gave them a better shot, when all it has done is produced more fascism. They are the fundamental and principal authors of fascism. They made their bed of blood. Now let them lie in it.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Can they let them and the Zionist state? I want the Zionist state and the Democratic Party to be done, go. They could all just go. And it's like, I feel like on one hand, this is another sort of analogy. I was thinking the empire is going down. The empire is going down. And it's very obvious that that's happening. So to me, what it looks like is if you have someone like Trump for 4 years, that's sort of like a free fall. You put Kamala in there, you're just on those long escalators, those long escalators that take you all the way down.
And I heard Nina Turner, and Nina Turner is one of the few Democrats that I have respect for. I can't help but have respect for Nina. And Nina, when your party goes down in flames, girl, when your party runs down in flames, I'm just gonna throw this out there, we're vetting running mates for 2028. If you want to go green, I think that would be a killer presidential, ticket. So she made this comparison, right? That the Democrats, the Republicans kill you fast, Democrats kill you slow. I'm not sure I buy it. And the reason is that the isolationist tendency in the Republican Party has them actually they have less velocity speeding headlong into World War III than the Democrats do. The Democrats are more hawkish when it comes to nuclear escalation with respect to NATO. They've actually done much, much worse. Everybody's like, oh, well, what's Trump going to do? It's going to be worse. How is it worse than 250,000 people? He's going to kill 10, he's going to kill 20, he's going to kill 30, he's going to kill 40, he's going to kill 50. Still not there, right? So this fear mongering that somehow the collapse into fascism is going to be more rapid with Trump. I just don't see it, because
I don't mean the collapse into fascism. Let me be clear. I'm talking about he facilitates the revolution.
I
Trump
see. I see.
facilitates the revolution.
He's
When
an accelerant. Yeah, he's an accelerant.
Absolutely. When you have Kamala in there, you have people literally going back to sleep. That's it. They're
Yeah.
not paying attention anymore. And she'll get away with doing the same things that he won't get away with doing under public scrutiny. Now, he gets away with everything judicially, but like he is under a microscope. So notice how people don't complain about kids in cages under Democrats.
Yeah, they don't complain about Obama blowing Yemeni kids up with drones.
That's what I mean.
So here's the and I agree with you. Here's the issue, that what is actually at stake is that liberals feel threatened by Trump.
Oh,
and that they're perfectly willing to let people of color be massacred. They're perfectly willing to let the carceral state extend its grips. I mean, let's just talk about this for 1 second. There have been more Americans killed by police in every single year since Biden became president. And this is coming after the Floyd uprisings. And this is also a really, really important
point. Why.
Exactly. But why? Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, another, student of Malcolm, this time in direct fashion. He said that people usually mobilize around issues, but revolutionaries organize against systems. People mobilized around the issue of police brutality, but didn't organize against the system. And therefore, we ended up with a more brutal crackdown of the carceral state, extension of cop cities, more people murdered by police than in every single year. So it's mounting. And then on top of that, they're sending troops in riot gear to campuses to crack kids' heads open when they exercise their free speech. So
it's freaking me out.
The liberals go to sleep and let the fascists do whatever the hell they want, as long as they're fascists wearing blue shirts.
Right.
Because they have no skin in the game. They're not threatened. As soon as then it becomes Republicans, all of a sudden liberals now consider themselves as having something to lose. But let's just be clear about this. The actual donors, the driving forces behind both Team Blue and Team Red do not give a good goddamn which team wins. Because militarized fascism wins with either Team Blue or Team Red. And the reality is that they are all owned by AIPAC and the same 5 weapons manufacturers, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and a few others. And those 5 defense corporations get roughly 60% of the United States' defense budget. And so the souls of both parties, blue and red, their names are written on tiny little pieces of paper and buried deep in the pockets of these mass murdering corporations and of AIPAC. And those purple fascists, Team Blue and Team Red, just one team, the Kamala and them would rather lose this election than unplug from the money train of AIPAC and the war machine.